Okay, hello. Well, this is Miss Toni Llanos from Empower, and we're just going to ask you a couple of questions today. Toni, how did you first start Empower?
Well, we started Empower, it's going to be, in 2017 will be our 10th year.
Wow.
It's an acronym.
Okay.
And it stands for Motivate, Pass On Wisdom and Education Responsibly. A few years before that, my husband and I had been involved in, I think, another business venture, and I had come up with that name because it dealt with programs to motivate children as well as adults. And as a business card or business name, organization name, I came up with Empower. And when this opportunity came up for us to have a business in fitness and martial arts, I said, you know what, let's use that again because it kind of still applies.
Absolutely.
I had been teaching my fitness classes before we started Empower throughout the Hudson Valley. I started first at Gold's Gym.
Okay.
And I think I was there for about 2 years, and then I decided I wanted to take it out on the road. And after doing that for a few years, I wanted to kind of find a spot where I could be situated, where we could call it home. And I kind of slowed down a little bit because I was also trying to figure out, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? And a friend of mine told me, hey, check on Main Street. There's a few businesses there. I know a real estate person. It turned out to be somebody who I was familiar with.
Okay.
And he looked up a few places, gave me a call, and said, hey, I got a spot for you to look at on Main Street. And I took my son with me.
Okay.
And in the car before we stepped out, I said, Julian, keep it in prayer that if this is where we're meant to be, it'll be revealed. So we go into the space. This was 390 Main Street.
Yeah.
And it was raw. No, it wasn't painted or finished or anything. And we walk in, and the real estate agent, which happened to be, let me see if I remember, Robert Robinson, I think is the last name. Anyway, Robert. He said to me, Toni, I think you're going to appreciate this space, and you're going to understand coming from the city. So he takes me in. He says, understand the first part of the space is really raw, but when I take you into the back to see the apartment, you're going to really understand what this space has to offer. And I'm looking, and there's pillars. Okay. He takes us through the back into the apartment. It's a studio. It looked like an apartment from Soho or in the Village. It was beautiful.
Wow.
Bamboo flooring. The kitchen and the bathroom had marble, stainless steel, and it was So I looked at Julian and I said, what do you think? And he smiled. He says, I think this is it. So needless to say, we went through the procedure of trying to get the space, acquire the space. We ended up getting bumped from that space and going into the other space that we ended up being, which was 390. It's not the first one we saw. And we opened in 2007. We got the keys on my son's birthday, April 13th of 2007.
Wow.
So next year will be 10 years that we started. We were only there until 2012.
Okay.
But we started with martial arts and my fitness class. And about within the year, our kids were introduced to hip hop. And that exploded.
Took off.
Yeah. So.
And so your husband does the karate.
Yeah. It's a traditional Japanese style called Goju-ryu.
Okay.
And Julian started in that style when he was about 3.5.
Oh, okay.
In his later years, he studied Tang Soo Do here locally. And I think he got his first and second degree in Tang Soo Do, and then in Goju-ryu, I think he's on his first Dan, as they call it, first degree.
Okay.
And my husband is fourth degree.
Wow.
Yeah, he just got promoted recently.
Wow.
Yeah, and Maya is considered first Dan. Actually, I think Julian's second Dan.
Okay.
Sorry.
Wow, very interesting. Okay. And so how has Empower affected you, first your family, and then the community?
Wow. being from the Bronx, I'm well aware and know about being poor.
Mm-hmm.
But being in this community, I saw something that was just totally different.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, 9-10 years ago, I felt like the energy or the spirit within the community was so intense that to me it felt like a really deep sense of hopelessness.
Yeah.
I saw it in the children, I saw it in the elders, and I couldn't understand it. I couldn't quite figure out why would that level of intensity spiritually exist in this community.
Mm-hmm.
And I think given the circumstances either within the school system, lack of jobs and opportunities and whatnot, this just kind of existed.
Yeah.
And it was just being passed on.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that within that first year of us being here, we would sometimes be open till 1, 2 in the morning.
Really?
So if you can imagine walking down Main Street and that being the only light that emanates on the street, it was like a beacon of light, and for those parents who trusted us, they allowed those kids to be with us as late as 1, 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
And when we had the dance group, performing, me being from the city and coming from that background of excellence in dance, I would demand, sometimes we'd have late rehearsals, but we fed them.
Yeah.
It would turn out to be sort of like almost a family gathering.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of times they didn't want to leave.
Right.
And it was wonderful. It was wonderful. I think a lot of the kids who were with us and started with us really learned and got to see what it was like to have that kind of relationship, to have that support and love.
Yeah.
Many of them came from single parent homes or other issues, that are prevalent in the community.
Yeah.
So it to me felt like a safe haven for so many.
And so would you consider yourself as being kind of like a mom to a lot of those kids who were there?
Yeah. In the African culture, the elders are referred to as mama, or with the male as baba.
You're remembering a lot of them.
So to this day, they refer to me as Mama T.
Yeah.
My college students still call me Mama T. I'm not hooked on that professor thing, so Mama T is good.
Yeah, definitely. And what do you think, how did having Empower and then having your own kids, how did that speak to them? They're watching you, in a sense, raising other kids, but they're along for the ride. How was that balance?
You know what? I'm happy to say that I think it worked out well.
Yeah.
I don't think that either Julian or Maya ever felt like they weren't getting what they needed as an effect of our work through Empower in the community. If anything, I think they offered an extension to the kids who came to us, and they understood. There were times, because for the most part, our 2 kids are growing up with 2 parents. They're fairly provided for. So the issues that exist for the kids in this community may not be true to them or something that they could relate to. But if and when we felt the need to extend ourselves or to take kids out to dinner or bring food so that we could feed all the kids that were in the program, they understood it. And they were supportive. And it was almost like having additional brothers and sisters for them, So I think they grew up in it, enjoying it, and understanding the importance of community and family.
And with all successes, there's always trials.
Oh, yeah.
When you're having a business, and especially dealing with people, and children who are hurting. Is there anything that you remember that stands out to you that was a challenge and kind of maybe it even said, is this still what I want to do? Is this still the right path for me?
Yeah. I guess when we lost our space on Main Street in 2012.
How did that happen?
We had fallen behind on the rent significantly. And, obviously we're not in a community that is, well off.
Yeah.
And we really fell off because of circumstances with our billing company, and then that kind of snowballed and put us behind, and in trying to catch up it was almost impossible because we were also serving a community that in most cases were not able to pay or meet the cost.
Yeah.
And we weren't turning families away. We either scholarship or allowed them to pay a reduced rate, which affected us.
Of course,
and we still do it.
Yeah.
But we spoke to the owner, and we hoped that they were going to be willing to meet us and be able to adjust it so that we could stay, given I thought the powerful work that we were doing in the community and how we were serving the community and the families. And at first it seemed like they were going to be okay and try to help work things out, but then they changed their minds.
Yeah.
And because we didn't really know our rights, we thought, okay, we gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
So the 30-day notice that we were given, we abided by it, and we've been kind of hopping around.
But you're still here.
Yeah.
Still going.
Yeah, we're still here.
Wow. Amazing. What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind?
Oh, God.
What will they say about you in 10, 20 years?
Wow.
Mama Toni. Mama T.
That's like being able to fulfill the dream. So, if that's the case, it would be exposing our youth to all that's possible, putting them in front of people who have achieved greatness, and allowing them to see that anything they desire is achievable with proper guidance, support, and love, and respect. Yeah. And I think one of the things that really demonstrated that, and I think going back to success story, in 2014 we did a summer program, and we did it out of the middle school. I, along with Nancy Ewing, Baba Mustafa, Diadu, a good friend, Rick Ramos, and two other artists, Lisa Tochigi and her partner, T.C. Weaver, and assistance from Astrid Lorenzo, who provided photography for us and my two kids. We did a 3.5-week program, and we called it the Empower Intensive Performing Arts Program.
Okay.
So it was a combination of dance. We also had a student from Vassar who had just graduated, Isabella Koshmaker. I hope I'm saying that right. 3.5 weeks, and we provided art, dance, fitness, African drumming, African dance, and drama. And it was important to me that every morning that we met those students, we met them with love, appreciation, and a hug. And we gave them that as they left. You can imagine the first few days, you got kids that are like, I don't hug. I don't do that. By about the third or fourth day, people are coming up to me, where's my hug? By the following week, I think I had to miss part of the morning. And I'm getting texts from my fellow artists, and they're like, Toni, so-and-so's asking for you. So-and-so keeps asking when you coming. And this was a young man who resisted my hugs.
Yeah.
Who'd be like, when I go to him, he wouldn't reciprocate. He would just be like, and turn his face like, I don't do this. And he was the one asking for me. When's Mama T coming? When I got there, the rush, kids running to you, Mama T, so glad you came, and hugging and kissing you. And I'm like, oh, I thought y'all don't do this. Anyway, part of the program, we were also preparing them for a performance. So you can imagine 3.5 weeks of getting these kids ready to do scenery artwork, take photos, painting, learning choreography, learning dramatical, pieces, and learning how to act on stage and placement, the whole nine. That we were like, y'all got to get ready for this because y'all going to perform. And some of them were like, no, we ain't doing that. No, we ain't doing that. I think by the second 2.5 weeks in, they started to take it a little bit more seriously. And by the day of the show, oh my gosh, how it came together. It was amazing.
Wow.
It was amazing. I think at least 85 to 95% of those kids were in tears at the end of the show.
My gosh.
They couldn't believe what they did. My only regret is that we didn't have a bigger turnout to support those kids in their performance. But what it showed me, if we give them that in 3.5 weeks, and they can produce that level of performance, what's happening in 9 months? Why is there this animosity that exists between teacher and student? Or students who don't even want to be there, or students who don't look forward to going? Kids recognize when you care. They know whether or not you're sincere. So it starts with us. What are we bringing and what are we giving them? How do we show them that we really, really care about who they are? Do we really see them? Do we acknowledge and appreciate all that they are? That showed me anything is possible as long as we're willing to stand and present ourselves in such a manner that we let them know, I'm here for you. I care about you. I love you. And I'm here to stand by you.
Yeah.
That was unfortunately the only time we got to do it, but I look forward to the next time that we do, whether it's there or, we're in a bigger facility, our own home. It's possible. We can tap into these children and their creativity and produce magnificent people.
Absolutely. That will be your legacy. I believe it. I believe it. Love, and you believe in them.
Right.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.